Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Beth Ann, and before I dive into talking about a book, I have a tech question. Could someone please let me know in the comments down below if you're hearing this video okay, especially if you're hearing it through both of your either headphones or through both of your speakers, left and right side, because I was having some problems with that before, and it seems like it was maybe a software issue rather than a hardware issue based on other experiences. So I'm trying out some new recording software. So if someone could please weigh in on that down below, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so today I want to talk about a romance novella, A Walk in the Park by Rebekah Weatherspoon. If you've been around my channel before, you know Rebekah Weatherspoon is one of my favorite romance authors, and I've been reading a lot of her books. And I think she might have written the perfect romance novella. This is an Audible original, so I don't think it's easily accessible in any other format, so I'm sorry for those who hate Amazon. I usually try not to use it as well, but I couldn't say no to Rebekah Weatherspoon, and I highly recommend this one if you want 2.5 hours of just pure joy in other people's lives. So in this book, we follow Janelle and Andre, so it's a heterosexual couple. And they both, at the beginning of the book, head to their local animal shelter because they both think that they're adopting a dog named Zeus. Turns out when they get there that the animal shelter has gone haywire because a disgruntled former employee sort of torpedoed the whole operation by emailing everyone that was on the waiting list for all of these animals that they're receiving those animals. So Janelle and Andre both arrive thinking that they are going to adopt Zeus. They both have emails that show that they've been approved because of this mean employee. And so what are they to do? So they both have really strong reasons for wanting Zeus. They both bonded him in previous meet and greets, and then they've both been going through a hard time. They are both very career-driven people who are sort of at the top of their game. Janelle has recently switched from being a lawyer to being an artist, making home decor items, and that's really taking off for her. And then Andre is a comics artist and writer whose comics series are starting to be made into movies. So I guess maybe he's more of a graphic novel person. Yeah, so they're both going through a lot professionally, and then they both, like within the past year or so, have gone through breakups from past serious relationships, and they're both carrying a bit of baggage that we hear about from those previous relationships. And so they're both feeling a little lonely, a little sad, a little busy, and they'd like to reorganize their lives around this sweet, lovable dog. So rather than walk away empty-handed, they decide, sort of spur of the moment, why don't they try sharing the dog and doing sort of a co-parenting situation where they each get him for half the week and they swap him at a dog park in the middle of the week. And it turns out, as they start to hammer out these details, they'd both actually already contacted the same dog trainer, who's a very well-known one in their area. They've both already contacted the same vet, who's a very highly rated one in their area. So it seems like things are sort of kismet and are coming together. And so they start out with their arrangement. And from page 1, we get that each of them thinks the other one is sexy. And so there's a little bit of time where they're both like, shouldn't mess this up because I'm co-parenting this dog. I don't want to lose the dog, so we shouldn't make this messy. But like, pretty quickly, I mean, it's a romance novel, so this isn't a spoiler, right? But one of the things that I loved about this book was that they're both just, they're sure about what they want. And so that comes through in like the way their lives are set up with their careers, their reasons for adopting Zeus, all of the prep that each of them went into for adopting this adorable dog. And so then that plays out in their relationship as well. And so that's what makes the novella work for being so short. So we don't run into communication issues. We don't run into a lot of like cold feet and feet dragging issues. Like, they're just adults that sort of hit it off, know what they want, figure it out pretty quickly, and then like, boom, we're in a relationship in 2.5 hours. So it was just absolutely delightful reading about two grown-up people who've got their grown-up insert expletive stuff together. And then the dog is amazing too. So that's maybe the, I think someone on Twitter called it like, there's a bit of fantasy here because it turns out Zeus is already fairly well trained. So they both were adamant about adopting a sort of older dog. And so I think he's like 3 or 4, something like that. And he had been with a family previous to being surrendered to the shelter. So he has had some training. He's already house trained, and he just sounds lovely and adorable. And so that part goes really easy, which, like, for anyone who's adopted a pet, you know that there's usually some more hiccups in the initial stages of bringing your pet home. But it was just really lovely. So I'm going to stand by this being a perfect romance novella, and I just highly recommend it if anyone wants like 2.5 hours to just space out and enjoy the joy. So that is all I have to say about that, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks. Bye.